the science of self-forgiveness. Yes, would you believe it? There is a science in self-forgiveness, just as there is a science in homeopathy of extreme simplicity, and it all lies within the secret of water. The fact that water is the holder, the placeholder of memories, and that it holds it in multi-dimensions. So let's go to an explanation of homeopathy. Homeopathy, for instance, you have a disease. The disease in itself will manifest as a particular type of consequences that is measurable, experienced. According to that, the technician will identify what form, what substance on earth simulate the same experience that you're having as a disease. They would then take that and create the frequency, because what you will have, how the disease manifested, would be by a frequency, a signature, a design, a mark that will be in your water, in your body, and you'll experience the physical effect of it. So you'll then create the likeness of it as a substance of earth, something that is on earth, that is in the likeness of the disease you have, and it will put it into water, distilled water. Nowadays they also use alcohol. And then you will take the medicine, and the medicine will then, if it is correctly analyzed and at the correct potency, that means its frequency or its sound, it's not totally as you would understand sound, it's very signature of its substance, of its existence. If that is equal, then the two meet and it simply ceases to exist. So you can take a poison, for instance, some medicines would be a poison, and it'll be potentized, and in a potency level, which means it's not physically measurable, but its effect is still measurable in the water, which is the same way a disease operates. In most cases, a doctor will diagnose you by symptoms, not by actually measuring the actual physical disease. That is very seldom done. By the time a disease can be physically measured, you're in deep trouble. First, the doctor will treat you for the symptoms. Unfortunately, because that's done in the normal way with medicine and not in the correct way, it will actually suppress the symptoms and a new disease will develop. The homeopathic way, obviously, if done properly by a technician, of which there are very few in the world, if any, at this stage. A long time ago, when the first ones worked with us, they knew what they were doing, but they were also not very good at explaining exactly what they're doing. So we're going to expound this and explain as much as possible until this is effectively understood, because self-forgiveness operated exactly the same way. Because with self-forgiveness you are using the living word as a likeness of the blemish or the limitation or the discomfort or the past event. You use the self-forgiveness as a living word, and the two would meet And just like they have proven in science, when two like points would meet, they simply both cease to exist because they cancel each other out. Exactly in the same way, self-forgiveness, if done in exactly the image and likeness, in absolute self-honesty, the self-forgiveness will wipe out the point which has been your nemesis for a lifetime in a single breath. Obviously, if you are not getting it out in a single placement, then it takes a process. The process that you are actually walking is simply the process of understanding exactly what it is you are supposed to forgive. Until you find that, obviously you're going to have a little bit of trouble. Now in homeopathy, it is exactly the same. A good technician, of which there are none virtually in the world, will be able to establish the exact image and likeness of what it is they must produce. Eventually homeopathy will be that specific, and then one enter the image and likeness of that into the water. The patient drinks the medicine, and the disease as it exists in the patient's water is cancelled out. Perfect science, and scientifically proven many times how it operates. And when you do self-forgiveness in this way, you change immediately. If you don't change, what do you know? You didn't yet get the exact image and likeness of what it is that's haunting you, what it is that is hidden within your water. And therefore you take it away layer by layer until you understand it, and suddenly, after 10,000 self-forgivenesses, as you remove the layers, you get to the one that caused it all, and you do that self-forgiveness, and your world changes in an instant, and you are no more who you were, and you are healed, you are whole, and you are sound, and you are here, and a whole new life starts, and you can't speak, and you are unable to deal with the world until you are in fact clear, re-established here. Now understand, the words are placed very specifically to trap the egoists, because we have placed it so specifically to help you, so that your ego may not take this and turn it into knowledge, and again you screw with everybody's minds. There is a destiny for everyone, and that is one destiny. It's a destiny of life. And therefore it was placed as one destiny. And if you can't walk it with this one destiny, you will not be able to find the real point of the self-forgiveness, because you would be walking your ego, and you will not be able to walk the group as one, as equal as life, which is obviously only one. And what is here as destiny? That's why we explain the science of it in simplicity. We explain everything in simplicity. You've made it difficult. So understand, the science of self-forgiveness is of great simplicity, but if you change the starting point and you claim that you will do it your way, in that very moment you become separate from what is already done, and therefore you can't go home. And remember, it's already done. It's destiny has done it already. We're already home. And all we're doing is making sure you don't screw with yourself and take eternity to get home. So we rather show you where your ego gets in the way. Self-forgiveness cancels out your disease. If your starting point is in the image and likeness of the disease. But if your disease is ego, and from there you try and fix it with self-forgiveness, you will just create another ego, and then you have a problem, because then you have several, and when they start talking to each other, you're in deep, deep trouble. So join us where we have support to assist you to make sure you do not deceive yourself, because you can never deceive us. It's impossible. Because those that deceive to apparently prove something, but they don't need to, because in deceiving they're proving that they are deceiving. That's all that is necessary for one to know. The rest is irrelevant, because you can never be diverted from that which is truly who you are, which is life, if that is who you are in fact. If you can be diverted, then you are not life, and you should be concerned. Find your way to where there is a clear understanding, scientifically, mathematically, of how things work in a fixed physical reality. Because there, a new world is possible. And no other way can this be done than the way that we have shown. And that is very specific. So don't lend out your ears. Do the math, do the science. We'll explain this in detail as we go along.